Kabayan, are you thinking of leasing out your property in the Philippines while you are abroad? One small contract clause mistake could cost you 1,000 pesos and it might even cost you your property. So make sure to watch this video. Mabuhay kabayan, I'm Attorney Donna, the property lawyer, and I will be your trusted legal guide as you invest in properties in the Philippines. For today's video, I've invited my very good friend from college, from university, Miss Joms Eusebio, also known as the Realtor Mom. Sabay-sabay po kaming nangarap nung nasa UP kami, ng mga scholar ng bayan kami na gusto naming maging real estate broker. And now, Joms is a very accomplished real estate broker. Just for your information, she has sold almost 1 billion worth of condominium inventory and has leased out almost 500 units. So big time na tong kaibigan ko na to. Hi, Joms. Welcome to Switzerland and welcome to the Property Lawyer channel.
Hi, thank you, Attorney Donna, for inviting me to be part of this very meaningful conversation that we're going to share with our kababayan.
Yeah, so Miss Joms is here with us now so that she can share the tips on how you can earn from your property investment through leasing. Okay, kasi marami nga tayong mga kababayan na may mga property investments sa Philippines but they might not know what to do about it or how to go about through leasing it. So, andyan si Miss Joms. The Realtor Mom will share her tips. So, Joms, you have sold almost 1 billion peso worth of condominium inventory and you have leased out 500 condominium units. But can you tell us how you started as a real estate broker? How did you become a real estate broker?
So my inspiration is you. This is your dream. So when we're in college, she's always telling me, after we graduate, go, let's be a real estate broker. So as a supportive friend, okay, let's do that. So when I graduated, so I'm a special education graduate from UP Diliman. I practiced my profession as a teacher. But as a teacher, when I'm still teaching, I am a part-time already sales agent because I'm still not licensed broker that time. So my sister has this real estate company. She's started together with my brother-in-law, Integrity Real Estate and Leasing Corporation. So we've been part of it, and then we started sharing already selling, pre-selling condominium units in Metro Manila. So that's how I started. Then after 5 years of teaching, I resigned from my work, and then my sister again told me, okay, join this, go do manning of join my brother-in-law, join her in selling properties. And that time, being a broker, you need a license already. So I applied, and praise God, we passed the board exam.
Wow, diba? Journey. That's your journey
Journey.
to becoming a real estate broker. So, but how did you become focused on leasing?
So I focus on leasing because as a sales agent or as a broker, leasing broker, so we started from pre-selling. And until the turnover, we are always with our client.
Because
So
you present, well, how do you present
we
the,
present that we will be here with you because I myself, I bought properties, I bought condominium. That's another tip. Forced investment. So I know how to be an owner. So we wanted our owners to be guided from start, when they buy the property, when they are researching their property, until the time that we are turn over the units to them. And then, what now after turning over? Are you going to use it or are you going to lease out your property? So we offer our services. Okay, we can help you lease out your property.
oh, diba? So, ganun ang klaseng servisyo ng ino-offer
Full
ng The
circle.
Realtor Mom. Full circle from purchase until leasing so that you can earn from your property. So, Joms, can you tell us a little bit about this notion na meron daw condo oversupply sa Metro Manila ngayon?
Actually, it's there's this surplus, but it's not an oversupply because there are still, kababayans natin looking for home in Metro Manila because their job is in Metro Manila. It's just a mismatch of the prices. But right now, it's a good opportunity for our kababayan that they can rent out units kasi yun yung nawala sa kanila during the hype of the Pogo. Really, the prices are so high that our kababayan cannot, makahabol doon. Example, diba? This is a personal experience that we're going to share. We have a property in
Makati.
Makati.
So,
Ah,
property investors, din
din
kami.
kami.
And partners kami dyan.
So when we purchase it probably around 2012,
Mhm.
then 2012, no, 2015. So 2015, so after 5 years, around 2019, we will get our unit before pandemic. We were surprised because the offer that we got from our tenant is 45,000 pesos for a one-bedroom,
condo.
fully furnished condominium in Makati. We were surprised because we are just expecting when we purchase it, probably this will be renting out around 20 to 25,000.
Because what is the average rental in Makati? At
The average rental in Makati at that time would be around probably 600 to 800 pesos per square. So when you're going, usually typical one bedroom is 25 a square meter. So if it's 800 pesos per square meter, so it's around 2320. But we were surprised. We were expecting actually around 25,000 because at that time, nag-average na siya ng 1,000 per square.
Mhm.
But offer is 45,000 pesos.
Why not?
Why not? Who will not get it? And then when the offer is 45,000 pesos, our amortization is 13,000 pesos. So supposedly we're going to pay all the remaining balance, but since a bank offered us, it's okay. It's a good debt even if you are in a, home loan with a bank. It's okay because the rental of our tenant is 45,000 and we're paying the bank 13,000.
That's a perfect
Actually,
investment, see?
A better offer, right? And then after 2 years, the rental rate, we were not surprised that it
Yeah.
will, go back to the norm, okay, rental rate. So they offered 28 until 25,000, which is what is
So
expected
it's
in
already
Makati.
leveled to
Yes.
its average rate.
So during this quarter, 2025, we heard it that there's so many, Chinese, Indonesians, the Asian Pogo, who are renting in Pasay, in Makati, in Mandaluyong, in Quezon City. So there's really that, vacancy of rental units. And it's a perfect timing for the Filipinos to rent it out again. But the pricing, the rental rate will be not as high as the foreign workers are offering us. So, but it's still okay because, for me, it's if you are not in the field, you will not see that still the leasing sector is still okay. Actually, most of my listings, it just depends on the supply and demand and the rate of your
So just to clarify, it's not a condo oversupply, it's just a property mismatch. And
mismatch.
all of these factors, there's a confluence of all these factors. That's why we're in that situation. So yung mga natatakot na mag-invest dyan, I hope you gain something from that, okay? Alright, so ngayon, jobs kasi karamihan ng mga nanonood sa atin are mga kababayan natin, so overseas Filipino workers, no? So if you are out of the country, can you still lease out your property and how should they go about it?
Of course, that's the best thing that you can do to your property. Don't pick it as a dead asset. Because if it's a dead asset, so wala talagang papasok sa sa'yo for self-liquidating asset. Or pwede pa, maging katulad ng nangyari sa property natin, naging passive income siya. So as an OFW, you can do it yourself. So
Mhm.
first, you can do it yourself.
So
You can
how should they go about it? Can you share the tips?
so the tips first, of course, you can, market your property. So probably during the time that you got your property, take a picture and then upload it to your social media, marketplace, Rentpad, Lamudi. So there are so many platforms wherein you can market your property that it is for rent. Then second, you should, have a contract and know the process on how you will do the move in process because different process depends on the property management of your condominiums. Then third, um, you should prepare your unit because there are tenants who are going to request that you can put aircon or I want this, I want that. So you should prepare that. And then thirdly, you should be ready for all the, duration. So if it's a 1 year rental, sometimes there will be uh, in between problems that owners will not know if they are not in the field. So, what are these problems? First, the collection of the rental
Fee.
fee of the your tenant. So, it depends if it's monthly, uh, post dated checks or bank transfer to you or what is your term? Is it 6 months advance, 2 months advance, or a year advance payment? So those are some factors that you need to consider as an owner.
If you're interested in these tips, we have created a free leasing guideline and you can download it through this link below. Okay? So, pwede namang DIY na mag-manage mo yung sarili mong property, no? But
Yes.
but why should they hire a leasing broker?
Oh, to make your life easier. Because you see, marketing is one factor. Drafting a contract is another factor. The move in and move out process will be another things that you need to consider. And the problems in between. Example, the tenants, they're going to ask, oh, there's a leak in my unit. They need to inform you. So as an owner, you need to inform the admin office. But when you have a leasing broker, your leasing broker will do that for you. So unless there are instances wherein us leasing broker have no power to request for such thing. It's only the owner who can do that. So that's the time that we're going to ask the owner to inform the admin or do the solution of the problem of our tenant.
How should they find a leasing broker? Of course, syempre, pwede niyong kunin si the realtor, ma'am, no?
Why not?
But in general, how should they find a leasing broker?
So you have to do the due diligence as an owner with your leasing broker or leasing agent. So, unang-una, sana wag tayong magtiwala sa mga color room. So, get a license. So, licensed broker. Because, as a licensed broker, mas higher yung risk kasi na meron kami to make ng mga kapalpakan. There are kasi kawawa talaga yung mga kababayan natin, especially those OFWs, investors, na may fly-by-night agent. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng attorney? Yun yung pag-move in, nandun sila kasi yun yung time na bibigay yung commission nila, tapos magpapakita sila. Pero duration of the lease that will be at least 6 months or a year, nawawala sila. And ang pinakamahirap po kasing part ng leasing is the move out. So pag wala yung leasing agent nyo, kayo yung gagawa lahat nun. Ano ba yung ginagawa sa move out? Check mo yung unit mo, paano kung ang daming damages? Paano mo makokontakt yung tenant mo kung wala kang contact dun sa tenant, tapos bigla na lang nawala yung tenant mo? So, nasa ibang bansa ka, imagine the headache that they are giving to our kababayan or owners or investors na inag-invest ka tapos ang daming mas nawala sa kanila because hindi maayos yung agent na nakuha nyo. So, as a broker, as a leasing broker, what do? We first have an agreement with you as our owner. We prepare our authority to lease. Not all leasing agents or brokers or even some owners, surprise pa sila pag nagpre-present kami na, Ma'am, this is my authority to lease. So, in our authority to lease, our responsibilities as leasing agent or broker, nakasulat doon. And your responsibilities as owner, nakasulat doon. Also the terms, magkano ba yung babayad sa amin para at least hindi nagkakagulo eh. At ano ba yung mga ginagawa namin? And nakasulat din doon kung ano ba, pwedeng 1 year lang naman yung duration ng services namin or if there's a renewal, i-continue pa rin namin yung service namin sa inyo. So, lahat doon nakalagay. Probably you can also,
Yes.
share with them in the link kung
Yeah.
ano ba yung mga authority to list document na yan.
Yes, we will definitely, there's a guideline or there's a leasing template that we will share with you in the description below. So make sure you also download that. Okay? Now, nabanggit mo na yung authority to lease and you can download that. But what about the leasing contract? Ano ang mga importanteng provisions na dapat nasa lease contract?
Okay. Sa lease contract, usually, syempre, nandoon yung terms and condition doon, nandoon yung unang-una, ilalagay natin yung kung sino yung lessee and syempre, kayo yung lessor. Sa lessee, usually, pag magka-partner sila, both, as a leasing broker, I want both. Example, mag-partner sila, isa, foreigner, isa, Pilipina. We want both to be accountable to the lessor. Parang
Yung
ganon.
parties
Should be there. Tapos, pangalawa is the duration. Is it a 6-month term, 2 years, a year? Usually, 1 year yung ginagawa natin sa term. Pero there are tenants or lessee na gusto nila 2 years para at least hindi na pabago-bago ng kontrata. Pangalawa is the payment term. So, it can be, mostly we advise post-dated checks so that you will be protected as an owner. Kasi at least, di ba, merong third party bank na kasama kapag nagdi-default na yung payment, tumatalbog na yung cheque nila. Or, karamihan sa mga OFW, pinapa-bank transfer nila kasi wala nga sila eh. So, paano nila i-deposito yung cheque? Sometimes kami, as leasing broker, okay, we can help you kasi yung cheque naman nakapangalan sa inyo, hindi sa leasing broker. So, make sure sa inyo pumapasok yung payment. Then, ano pa? Security deposit. Usually, ano ba yung security deposit? We put them there in the contract, 2-month security deposit, 1 month advance. So, yun usually. Pero right now, may mga agent, may tenant kami, 1 month security deposit, 1 month advance. So, do you think as owner, nagiging protected tayo with that kind of, parang nagiging norm na siya eh. Especially in Makati, 1 month security, 1 month advance. So, or 1 month security deposit, 3 months advance. They can advance in 3 months, but they cannot do 2 month security deposit.
Parang nagiging norm. Tapos ang interest naman ng owner, sige na, payag na lang ako dyan para maparentahan, di ba? Pero sige, clarify nga natin yan sa ating mga viewers. Ano bang difference ng advance at deposit?
So, security deposit, it's actually, hindi natin ginagalaw yon for the duration of the rent. Kasi it's your security that if there will be unbilled payment, like utilities unpaid by the tenant nang umalis siya, like the water and electricity, doon kukunin. Or if there are damages in the unit na hindi inayos ng tenant natin bago sila umalis. Yung advance payment naman, it can be kasi 1 month advance, 2 months advance, 3 months advance, or there are tenants na nag-1 year advance, meaning to say, wala na talaga silang babayaran, binayaran na nila yung whole duration of their payment. So, but, ang karaniwan is, we ask for 1 month advance. 1 month advance kasi every first of the month yung payment. So, dapat, after nilang mag-contract signing, may 1 month advance sila, the next month, magbabayad na sila for consumption nung coming days ng stay nila sa property.
So, pero yung deposit, so meaning yung deposit should account for the unpaid bill. So, paano pag wala namang ganon? So, are the tenants still entitled to the balance of the security deposit?
Yes, because the security deposit is the tenant's money. So, kailangan ibalik natin yun sa mga tenant natin. Yan rin naman yung nahihirapan ngayon. Bakit ayaw ng mga tenant magbigay ng 2-month security deposit? Because some owners, they thought, I need to consume all the security deposit para sa damages. Paano nga kung walang damages? It happens, It should be the practice. Supposedly, yan yung tinuturo natin dapat sa mga tenants natin na dapat bago kayo umalis, lahat bayad. Huwag nating galawin yung security deposit kasi dapat yung security deposit, ibabalik mo yan after 30 or 60 days. Bakit after 30 or 60 days? Kasi sa Pilipinas, yung Meralco, yung billing niya, yung reading niya kasi is a month. Yung kinonsume mo last month, paano yung kinonsume mo within the period na nandun ka pa? So, hindi pa siya na-account. Kaya, hinihintay natin yun para mawala, ma-account natin yung security deposit.
Right? So those are the typical terms in a lease contract. And of course, if you want to have a template of a lease contract, you can download it through the description below. Make sure. So, meaning, hindi pala advisable, Miss Jobs, yung handshake agreement lang na, okay, nag-agree tayo, i-lease mo na to.
Hindi. You should be protected by a contract kasi lahat naman dapat nandoon. Kung halimbawa nag-default payment si tenant, anong mangyayari? Tapos, paano kung nakasulat din doon, ano ba yung pwede nilang gawin sa unit? Pwede ba silang gumamit ng gas? Pwede ba silang magbutas sa unit mo? So, kailangan nakalagay lahat And also, kailangan nandun rin kung paano kung ano yung susundin nila, tenant. Siyempre, kung sa condominium, they have to abide the rules and regulations kasi kahit hindi ikaw yung nakatira doon, responsibilities mo pa rin as owner, yung tenant.
But of course, the contract, it's a bilateral contract, so it should also protect both parties.
Yes.
Tenant din and then yung landlord. Kasi what if nakalagay din doon, example for property inspection, right?
Yes.
Hindi naman basta-bastang pwedeng
Pwedeng
pumasok
pumasok.
ang landlord at the
Correct.
time ng gusto niya, di ba? So that's also protection for the tenant. Miss Chom, so paano pala, how do you get tenants? How would you advise our subscribers or viewers, or ano yung tip ni Realtor Mom when it comes to getting tenants and qualified tenants?
Oo, kasi marami talaga mag-i-inquire dun sa isang post mo or sa advertisement mo, like in Facebook Marketplace or in Rentpad, Lamudi, ganyan, property platforms na ginagamit namin as brokers. So, how do we qualify? Very perfect question. Unang-una, you have to do your profiling, due diligence. So, hindi naman kami nagde-decide. We ask, example, the tenant, have a tenant information form. Tapos, papasa namin yan kay owner. Ano bang background ng titira? Is it a family? Is it an individual? Foreigner ba yan? So, kailangan ba niya ng mag-submit ng passport niya, ng ACR niya, ganyan. So, depende rin kung ano yung requirement nung property. So, kung may kailangan bang isubmit na barangay clearance, NBI clearance, police clearance, or ask mo, ano ba yung background nito? Ano bang employment history nito? Kasi, syempre, pinoprotektahan natin yung owner. Baka mamaya naman, hindi pala capable yung tenant natin. Tapos, in 1 year, in the middle of the year ng rent niya, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. So, yun yung iniiwasan natin doon. So, due diligence of profiling our tenant.
So what's your advice for OFWs who want to lease out their property?
So, if you want to lease out your property, para less headache, get a leasing broker. Trust them. And then, kasi lagi sila nanghihinayang, nakakapanghinayang yung komisyon. Pero kasi, gaya nga ng sinabi ni attorney, kapag walang nag-guide sa inyo, mas masakit sa ulo at mas marami ang pwedeng mawala kay owner kasi hindi guided. Paano kung iniwan kayo ng tenant nyo? Or anong gagawin nyo? Nasa ibang bansa kayo? Kasi may mga ganyang cases na paano kung iniwan rin kayo ng agent nyo? So that's why nga sa simula pa lang sinabi namin na as owner, do your due diligence. Aside from your tenant, sa broker. Naku, kunin niyo.
Again, get the services of the realtor mom, tried and tested in the industry. So, hindi ba pwedeng sila na lang ang gumawa niyan or kamag-anak nila? Kasi usually, di ba, nagre-request or magagawa mo tong mga to through a special power of attorney. So, magbibigay sila ng SPA sa'yo as a leasing broker. Ano dapat yung mga terms na naandun? At ano yung dapat hindi? Ano yung dapat walang term doon?
Okay. Ganito yon. Siyempre, dahil nasa ibang bansa kayo, special power of attorney is needed. Kailangan mag-assign ka ng isang tao na pwedeng pumirma sa mga documents, sa kontrata, ganyan. Pero be very careful. Kasi usually, may mga agents nga they are offering it na pwede ba ako na lang ang gawin mong SPA? Or mismong owner, can you be my SPA? Ako, tumatanggi ako, attorney. Why? Kasi, depende yun. Ayoko talaga kasi napakalaki nga nung power na ibibigay mo dun sa authorized person na mag-handle ng property mo. Sana nga lang kung management lang. Paano kung dun sa SPA mo, nakasulat that they can also collect and get the payment. So, minsan, yun yung nagiging problema kadalasan ng mga nasa OFW. Kababayan. Kasi, halimbawa, yung tenant, very diligent in paying the rent. Pero hindi nakakarating sa owner kasi kinukuha ng SPA. Collection. So, very tempting kasi if there's money involved. So, what if hindi i-deposito sa'yo? Dapat talaga, as an owner, be very careful. Maging protected kayo sa ganyang mga bagay. Kasi yung SPA, pwede naman gawing SPA yung mga leasing broker nyo. Pero ano bang dapat lang? May limitation. Dapat sa administrative lang to sign, ganyan. Pero baka mamaya yung SPA mo, hindi lang sa leasing, pati pala sa sale. Binenta na pala yung property mo ng SPA mo, hindi mo nalalaman. So, yun yung mga bagay na iniiwasan natin. Also, yung collection, every payment, ako very general rule ko yon. So, major na dapat sa owner. Ang hirap na pag cash, bibigay sa iyo. Tapos, paano kung magastos ng agent? Sorry po, nag-emergency kami. Hindi pwede yun. Dapat kay owner yun So, dapat, every payment, kay owner na po.
Correct. So, yan. So, yung SPA, meron din tayong template niyan and you can download that below. SPA for leasing. So, very important yun. So, actually, at the start of this video, we told you that if you don't do property leasing properly, you might even lose your property. And that's how you'd lose it if you issue an SPA.
Not just for lease.
Yes, and not just for lease, it's to sell, di ba? So, hindi mo na malayan na nabenta na pala yung property mo. So, make sure to download that SPA template. Now, let's go to the other side of the equation in a leasing agreement. Yung lessings naman and tenants. So, how are they protected? So, what should they look for as well? Kasi yung due diligence, hindi naman lang yun isa, di ba? So, it goes both ways. So, what should a lessee or tenant look for?
Yan. Minsan rin, dahil nga, speaking of SPA, minsan sasabihin ng SPA, property to ng brother ko, property to ng sister ko or kamag-anak ko, pinaparent out nila yon. Yun pala, hindi naman talaga intended ng owner talaga na iparent out yung unit. So, mabibigla na lang yung tenant. Pag dumating yung real owner, biglang, bakit kayo nandito sa unit ko? Is pinarentahan. Hindi nagkaroon ng due diligence naman yung tenant natin na kung sino ba talaga yung owner nito. Dahil lang sa SPA na document, okay na sila. So, ako, sinasabi ko sa tenant na I'm always asking naman my owners na magpagkita tayo ng proof of ownership. Baka mamaya nabenta na pala yung property, hindi na pala yun yung owner, yun nga. Mas bigla yun yung ginamit nila. Unang-una is proof of owner, due diligence ng tenant. Yeah. Proof of ownership. Magbigay ka ng proof of ownership. It can be yung certification, better if it's the title. Diba? Pero minsan, binibigay will be yung Meralco billing or yung sa admin. Magtanong ka rin sa admin, sino po ba talaga yung property owner nito? And then, para merong peace of mind yung ating tenant. Tapos, dapat rin, alam ng tenant, halimbawa, may mga contract kasi na pwedeng isublease, di ba? Attorney. Halimbawa, may mga tenant na gusto ko ipasublease kasi short term rent ko. Ako, I want to manage, gagawin kong Airbnb yung unit. What if yung owner ayaw pala? Tapos, dun sa contract na binigay ng SPM, is pwede ang subleasing.
Mhm.
So, dapat mag-due diligence din yung tenant na stipulated sa contract na pwede yung subleasing. Kasi hindi lahat ng contract pwede i-sublease.
Yes. And then, yun nga, kung sino yung katransact din na leasing broker, dapat i-check din nila na may authority to list din yung leasing broker.
Yes, there are also some developer na meron silang tinatawag na tenancy pass or nagpapa-accredit ka as leasing broker. So, we submit our ID kasi
Credentials.
baka mamaya nakaban na pala dun sa property na yon yung mga agents. Yun pa rin yung kinukuha. Or minsan rin as owner, may mga agents na example na-surprise ako na may ganun pala na bigla yung owner kasi yung dalawa yung kontrata ang pinasign nung agent. Isa is, example, 25,000 lang yung agreed rental rate sa inyong mga owners. Pero naparent ng agent nyo ng 30,000. So, binigyan nyo na silang komisyon. Mas mataas pa pala. Dahil meron pa silang plus 5,000 na rental. Na, di alam mo yun, kasi dalawang kontrata yung ginawa nila.
So, are there protections under Philippine law for tenants?
Meron naman. Actually, karamihan kasi sa condominium, meron naman tayo rental act law, right? But the rental act law, it's just, for the 10,000 pesos lang na, parang hindi ka kasi kagad makakapagpa-evict and all. But with the contract that we have, pag more than 10,000 pesos na yung rental rate nyo, ibig sabihin, under na kayo ng civil law. Kasi may kontrata kayo. So, paano kasi kung ayaw umalis nung tenant nyo kasi hindi na nagbabayad ng 2 buwan? Huwag tayo masyadong magpakabait, mga OFW kababayan, kasi doon talaga tumatagal. Pag masyadong mabait yung mga owners, yan kasi yung problema nating mga Pilipino na kapag yung emotion na, yung pinakita ng mga tenants natin, kapag direct sila sa inyo, pasensya na po, pwede po bang next month na lang ako magbayad kasi po nagkasakit yung anak ko or kasi bigla ka rin kami nagkaroon ng problema financially. Hindi kasi dapat natin laging iti-take consideration yung mga ganong bagay kasi dapat may responsibility sila sa inyo. Paano kung kayo rin naman, kailangan nyo yung pera? So, kasi yung pera ng ginagamit nyo dito, pinambabayad nyo ng amortization, or minsan nilalaan nyo rin yon para sa ibang bagay. So, it should be fair na protected talaga kayo na kapag ka merong nasa kontrata na pag hindi nagbayad, default payment, pwede nyo na silang i-evict kasi nakasulat yun sa kontrata nyo. Kasi minsan, meron dyan mga yung parang na sila, meron ako isang case, parang na-experience, parang kala nila, alam talaga nila yung batas. Kapag walang alam yung owner at saka yung agent nyo, parang magpapadala kayo because of the terminologies that they are using, ganyan. Pero hindi nila alam na yung kontrata, dapat, nasa kontrata nyo na, hindi, kailangan ka evict kasi hindi ka nagbayad nasa kontrata natin yon na wala na tayong korte, wala na kung ano man, kailangan, umalis ka sa property ko kasi nasa kontrata natin. Yung iba, hindi, kasi paano ko, karapatan ko.
Mhm.
So, umaabot ng 2, 3 months, 4 months, may iba pa, a year. Nakita niyo yung lost opportunity niyo. A year, property niyo, nag-squat na yung tenant niyo, hindi niyo pa rin napaalis kasi nahirapan kayo dahil yung kontrata niyo hindi maayos at wala kayong stipulation in your contract for that kind of situation para sa dispute na gagawin nyo sa tenant.
Yeah. So make sure, very important yung leasing contract, and make sure you download that through the link below. So andun tayo sa eviction. So paano pag nagkaroon nga ng dispute? Where should they go? No?
Ayan, labanan yan. Sobra. Yan yung pinakamahirap at pinakaayaw mong maranasan. Kasi, usually, doon pumapasok rin yung leasing broker. Kung maaayos naman, lahat naman pwedeng pag-usapan. Ayusin. Tapos, minsan nagbibigay ng promissory note, yung mga tenants natin kung di sila nakakabayad. Pero as much as possible, sana, as soon as possible, pwedeng umalis na lang yung tenant at ng maayos, yun ang pinakamaayos, pinakamagandang solusyon. Pero papaano kung 'pag lumalaban si tenant, lumalaban si owner? Ang nagkakaroon niyan is pupunta ka sa property management office. Try mong ask yung admin to mediate the parties. Pero kung hindi nagme-mediate, nagkakabaranggayan. Eh, yun yung pinakaayaw natin kasi papaano nga kung nasa ibang bansa ka, sino magre-represent sa'yo? Actually, sino magre-represent sa'yo? Kami. Kasi, or SPA mo. Kasi kami yung ah parang authorized person to represent you sa barangay para maayos. So, bakit nagkakabarangay? Yun yung first step hanggang sa korte.
Worth,
Pero minsan, worth
worth it ba?
30,000. Worth it ba ng time nyo? Ang importante kasi sa amin is makaalis yung tenant para maparentahan natin ulit.
Ngayon naintindihan na natin no kung gaano kaimportante yung pag-hire ng services ng leasing broker. So, Miss Choms, what is a typical fee for a leasing broker?
Usually, ang typical fee naman for us is the 1 month rent. So, sasabihin nila, 1 month rent sa buong taon, wala kayong ginagawa. Hindi po, kasi sa simula pa lang, may ginagawa na kami. So, di ba na-discuss natin, what are those things that we are doing? We are marketing your unit, preparing your unit, then all the documentation from contract to move in to move out process. So, minsan kasi akala natin, pinakamadali is the move in. Yung move out process, yun po talaga yung pinakamahirap na ginagawa namin. And kaya magaan po yung buhay nyo. Hindi na po kasi namin pinararating yung mga small little problems in the field, like kung may tubong nasira, bombilyang kailangan palitan ni tenant, or kung may violation si tenant. Sometimes nakakarating sa inyo yon through the admin, pero paano yung mga little things dun sa baba na pwede namin kami po yung gumagawa nun. So, yun yung mga bagay-bagay kung bakit may commission payment si leasing broker.
Lagi kong sinasabi to sa aking mga clients, no, it's for your peace of mind. Peace of mind comes with a cost. And when it comes to leasing property, it's just 1 month of your entire year's rental fee that you can get from the property. So make sure you hire a very competent leasing broker like the Realtor Mom. Now, eto, I'm sure lahat ng ating mga viewers, ito yung gusto nilang malaman. Ngayon, meron akong property. How do I set the rent? What can you advise them about that?
Okay. So, dyan lagi yung tanong, magkano ko ba paparentahan yung property ko? Kasi gusto ko, yung loan ko dito is 30,000 per month. Pwede bang maging 40,000 yung rent ko sa property ko? So, syempre, we have to do our market research. So, rental rate pa rin yung nananaig. So, there are several factors for leasing. So, unang-una, supply and demand. So, kung maraming supply, anong mangyayari sa presyo nung rent? So, kung standard naman yan, usually nagsiset naman per area, how much per square na yung rental rate dito. Example, Makati nga, 1,000 pesos per square. Pero sometimes sa BGC, can be 1,500 to 2,000 pesos. So, it depends rin kung ano ba yung unit status na paparentahan mo. Is it bare, semi-furnished, or fully furnished? Siyempre, pag bare unit, mas mura siya kaysa dun sa fully furnished unit. So, I always advise my client na into the rental rate. Ito po yung rental rate right now. Example, 1 bedroom in Makati, it can be 25 to 30,000. So, pero ikaw gusto mo 40,000. Do you think your unit will move? Yes, it will move, but not now. Kasi hanggat may supply, hindi siya yung kukunin ng mga tenants natin. So, ano pa ba yung factor sa pricing? Pwede kasing pina-interior mo yung unit mo. So, you can, ask for a higher price, ganyan. And set the standard for that fully furnished. Pero usually talaga, it's the market. It's the owners. Paano kung may owner? Ang market rate, 25, may owner, 20,000. Sa tingin nyo po ba, hindi kukunin ng mga tenants yung 20,000? If the same lang naman lahat ng mga parang checklist nila na I need a 1 bedroom unit, tapos in Makati, parehas lang naman kayo nandun sa building. So, kukunin talaga yung lower price. So, as owner din, wag mo naman masyadong ibaba yung rental rate mo kasi nahahatak pababa yung average rental rate ng mga units natin in the area.
So dapat win-win. And then
Yes.
win-win depending on the market conditions at that time. So
Yes, correct.
kasi yun na nga most of our investors din gusto nila kahit pa paano makover yung mortgage, 'di ba? Na dahil passive income nga siya eh. Pero what if the market doesn't is not ideal for that? So pwedeng take iparenta mo muna ng medyo palugi ngayon, but 6 months from now, if there's an escalation clause, you can have it,
Yes.
you can increase the rental,
10%.
diba?
Yeah, sometimes kasi there are in the contract na lalagay talaga ni owner na after 1 year, kapag magre-renew ka, I will have a 10% increase. Pero hindi naman kasi standard yun eh. Ikaw lang talaga yung magdi-dictate. Pero kung pumayag naman si tenant mo at yun yung agreement nyo, so better for you as owner, di ba? Talagang kasi pinotektahan mo yung sarili mo na next year kahit ano pa yung situation ng market, I will make a 10% increase kasi yun yung kontrata natin ngayon kapag may renewal tayo. So, ang ko rin, ang isa rin sa rule ko sa rental is parang i-minimize natin yung lost opportunity. So, minsan, example, pwede po bang tumawad? Yan actually, sa Pinoy, karamihan, tawad. As in, naka-market na nga siya ng 30,000, pwede po bang 28,000? 30,000 mo nga minamarket eh. Ngayon, syempre, kaming leasing broker, hindi naman kami nagde-decide. It's still you, owner. So, tinatanong namin, 28,000. Bakit? Anong factors para mabigay sa'yo na 28,000? Kasi mag-move in na ako in 3 days. So, itasabi ko sa owner, ma'am, sir, are you willing to lower down the rent natin to 28,000 because they're going to move in 3 days? As a leasing broker, agree na ako doon. Kasi, at least, magkano ba yung 2,000 difference, right? 2,000 times 12 is 24,000. So, yun lang yung loss mo. Eh, what if, may gusto 30,000, pero 2 months pa gusto mag-move in. So, 30 times 2, 60,000. Sino yung mas malaki yung
Nalugi ka
giveaway
na.
mo? Nalugi ka na. So, yun yung i-check din natin, mga factors to consider kung ano yung decision natin sa rental rate na ilalagay natin para dun sa unit natin.
So it's a balancing of interests. And then, kaya nga, importante, meron ka talagang capable and competent na leasing broker who can advise you on these things, no? Like the realtor.
Yeah.
Okay? So, Ms. Joms, what's the one piece of advice that you can offer to our overseas Filipino workers who are thinking of leasing their property?
Oh, one piece of advice. Always do your due diligence. So, hire a professional licensed broker and then check the contract. Kasi, kontrata po yun. Hindi kami involved as a broker. It's your contract with your tenant. So, make sure kung ano yung gusto nyo, malagay sa contract. Kasi we can always give you a draft lang, a general contract ng lease. Pero, kayo pa rin yung magdidictate. And then, lastly is, trust the process. Trust the process. And
Very
then,
important.
very important, trust the process na kung kailangan ibalik yung security deposit to our tenant, balik natin kasi baka mamaya wala nang tenant ang gustong mag-rent sa unit nyo kasi iniisip nila hindi kayo nagbabalik ng security deposit. Trust the process and then let your leasing broker do it for you. But you are just monitoring there para wala tayo headache. Gaya nga sabi ni attorney, peace of mind.
So all these tips we have compiled in the leasing guideline, which you can download below. So it's in the description below. So, Ms. Joms, thank you so much for
Thank you,
granting our
attorney,
request.
for
And
inviting
so,
me.
if you have subscribers and viewers who would like to avail of your services as the realtor mom, as their leasing broker, or as their real estate broker, how will they be able to contact you?
I have a Facebook page, a Realtor Mom page, link also down there, and also our website. So you can contact us through our website and through our page.
Thank you so much. And again, Kabayan, those are the leasing tips that you have learned from the Realtor Mom. And so make sure you subscribe and comment if you have any more questions that you would like us to answer, if you have suggestions, or if you have experiences when it comes to leasing. We'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.